Hello everybody and welcome to today's top 5 board gaming video about my most respected board game designers. Before I get started, if you haven't done so already, please take a look at all my various social media pages as well as my Patreon page. On all of those you'll be able to interact with myself as well as my channel in all sorts of cool, fun, and interesting ways. Moving right into today's video, this is part of a 2-part mini-series I'm doing on board game designers. I have a video on my top 5 favorite game designers that are my personal favorites, and then I have this one where I am talking about the designers that I most respect. So these are people who have been in board game design for decades. They have potentially hundreds of board games under their belts, dozens of awards, and pretty much everybody knows who they are. So that's sort of what I wanted to do here. They have made games that I enjoy by and large, but some of them I'm just like, you know, I got respect. You know, I have respect for you even though I don't agree with what you do type of thing. So with that, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Please let me know any and all of your own thoughts in the comments below. Do you have any game designers that you really respect but don't necessarily really like their games? If so, let me know who they are. You guys know I love to hear from you. But that said, we're going to get started right off with my number 5. At number 5, I've got Donald X. Vaccarino. Now, I have Dominion here. You guys know I'm not a huge fan of Dominion, but he designed Dominion and everything associated with it. He also designed Kingdom Builder and everything with that. Most recently, he designed Pinata, something along those lines. It's a really popular little game that came out not too long ago. But the thing is, you really can't argue with, I believe he's got 2 Spiel des Jahres awards and just dozens and dozens of accolades that this man has. Absolutely incredible, fairly prolific game designer as well. It's just that, by and large, I'm not a huge fan of his games. I'll certainly play them, but there are other designers in other games that I enjoy more. And that's why he's relatively low on the list, is just because there's not a lot of his body of work that I personally like. But Donald X. Vaccarino, my number 5. At number 4, I've got Uwe Rosenberg, very famously designer of Agricola, Caverna, Patchwork, a lot of other games. Again, very prolific, just like Donald X. Vaccarino, but some more games that I really tend to enjoy. Agricola I like, but it tends to be a little bit heavy for me. Caverna I tend to like a little bit more. Patchwork, wonderful little 2-player that I absolutely adore and play all the time. The reason that Uwe is a little bit lower on this list, though, is just that he's a little bit less prolific, and there are games that I like a little bit less of his than some of the other ones, but still a tremendous game designer who has been around for a very long time. Uwe Rosenberg, my number 4. At number 3, I've got Reiner Knizia, and I will tell you that Reiner is the only person who made both lists. My favorite game designers as well as my most respected game designers. The fact is that Reiner Knizia is a PhD in mathematics, and he has designed over 500 board games since the early 1990s. Incredibly prolific, lots and lots of wonderful games. Lots of not so great games as well, but either way, Battle Line is one of my favorites of his. He also designed Modern Art, which is probably my favorite auction game of all time, Amun-Re as well. Lots of wonderful games that he has done, and I believe that it's because of his mathematical training that you see really great balance in his games, and you see viable strategies pretty much with whatever you do. Any way that you go about winning the game can potentially work. And it's a theme throughout at least his more popular games. And that's why he's higher up on this list, mostly because he's got so many games and a decent number of them are ones that I like. But Reiner Knizia, my number 3. At number 2, I've got Eric M. Lang. Now, the fact is that this guy is probably keeping the lights on over at Cool Mini or not, and it feels like you can't open Kickstarter without seeing some kind of a game that he designed that is currently seeking funding. We also have Cthulhu, Death Must Die, or something along those lines. We've got Arcadia Quest. We've got some of the Star Wars collectible card games, XCOM, Blood Rage, all sorts of different games he has had a hand in, lots and lots of different mechanics, tremendously prolific in just the last few years, and I can't help but respect somebody who has been able to design these games that have earned so much money on Kickstarter. That's really why he's not only on the list, but so high up on the list, in addition to the fact that I'm actually a pretty big fan of a lot of his games. I really enjoy them, but regardless, Eric M. Lang, my number 2. At number 1, I've got Richard Garfield, and it's for one very simple reason: Magic the Gathering. He is the original designer of the world's most popular collectible card game and managed to move very successfully into board game design as well. I have here King of Tokyo. He also designed King of New York, in addition to Android Netrunner and several other extremely popular board games. Now, his board games may not have caught on quite as much as some other designers, although King of Tokyo is extremely popular. But the fact that he is able to design in both realms of collectible card games as well as board games just kind of blows my mind completely. And that is why I cannot help but respect him. I would be shocked to hear that anybody doesn't respect somebody who's capable of doing that kind of thing. Richard Garfield, by far, my number 1 most respected game designer. Well folks, that's it for me. I hope that you enjoyed this video on the top 5 board game designers that I most respect. We're talking about very proliferative, been around in most cases for decades, lots and lots of wonderful games under their belt, making tons of money on Kickstarter, whatever it happens to be. I cannot help but look at them and just think, wow. With that, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, please make sure that you give me all of your thoughts in the comments below. Who are your most respected game designers? Are they also your favorite game designers? Let me know. You guys know I love to hear from you, but with that, thank you very, very much again for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.